Okay, guys. So today we're going to focus on how to write an email to a teacher. So you need to have this pulled up, your Google Doc, that's your note guide, and you need to watch this video first. You will get to this one at the end, but for now you're in the right video, and you do need to pull up your note guide to help you start with this. So like I said, we're focused on how to write an email to a teacher. So I'm going to let you sit and think about this for a second, have your note guide pulled up, and you will answer this on your note guide. Why is it important for you to communicate thoughtfully and respectfully with your teachers and other adults? I'll let you think about it for a second, get some thoughts in your head before I tell you mine. And you will write this on your note guide or write something on your note guide that you think is the correct answer. And so for me, when I think about why is it important, it's because we should treat everyone with respect, whether that's a teacher or it's a colleague that you work with. We need to treat people with respect. Now, especially so when it's a teacher and an adult that is in charge of you and they have authority over you. You never want to come off disrespectful to anybody that is kind of responsible for you, because that could end up being bad for you. So I'll let you think about that. Again, if you have a different thought, feel free to write that down instead. I would love to hear your own thoughts on it. Okay, and so what are some situations you might find yourself in where you would need to write an email to a teacher? Off the top of my head, I can think about how weird life is right now and how important it will be if we go all online for you to know how to write an email, because that might be the only way that you can get a hold of me. And so one of the situations is just the way the world is at this moment. Another would be maybe a teacher marked you absent and you would like to address that issue because you think that you were there, or maybe you got a grade on an assignment that you don't necessarily agree with and you'd like to address that concern. Questions, concerns, anything like that is something that you might email your teacher over. Maybe you feel uncomfortable with the person that you sit next to in class, and instead of face-to-face, you want to write an email about it. Whatever it is, there are lots of situations where you might need to email your teacher, and again, feel free to add your own there. What are some situations outside of school in which you would need to write an email to an adult? And my thought there immediately is if you have a job and you need to email your boss. Maybe you need a day off and you're requesting time off on a certain day for whatever reason, or maybe you're sick and you can't make it into work that day. Immediately I go to boss. Something outside of this particular school would be if you were applying to a job and you wanted to reach out about it. And so there might be other things that you're thinking of. Again, feel free to jot those down. Okay, and so this is an example. Let's say your teacher's stapler is missing. You were the last person to borrow it. Which email would you rather receive and why? Now, this isn't on your note guide, but I'm going to talk about it for a brief second. So the first email is, did you borrow my stapler? I want it back. So again, that one's kind of yelling. That one has all caps. That leads you to think that this person is angry. Not to mention, check this out. That says stapler. Think about that one. So do you want this email or do you want this email? Dear Monica, my stapler is missing and I think you were the last person who borrowed it. Will you please look in your locker to see if you mistakenly put it in there? Thanks for checking. Sincerely, Miss Hershey. Well, which one? Think about it. I don't even think that really would require many brain cells for you to think about which one you'd rather get. The second one is clearly much nicer. The tone is much more agreeable. And you also don't necessarily blame this person. You're saying, hey, I think you might have it, and I think it was an accident. I'm not saying that you did anything on purpose. Also, in this first one, there's no subject. This one has a subject. Have you seen my stapler? Right? So this is just a more correct email all around than this one. And so at the end of this, we're going to watch a video for you to fill out the rest of your note guide. But I just want to show you a few more examples of ways to not write an email to your teacher. And so for each of these, think about what the writer did well and specific ways that they could improve. So I would like to know how I can get my grade up. Well, first of all, that doesn't really give a teacher many options there. You're just straight up asking. The spelling and grammar is not completely great. Look at your eyes. So things are just wrong with this one in general. You could approach this in a much nicer way. Yes, it's very direct, which is not necessarily bad, but you can say, hello, Miss Brumley. I'm really unsatisfied with the grade in my class, and I would really love to know how I could get my grade up, right? So you could be much more warm about it. This one, you don't even know what they're talking about. No subject, but it just says, how long do I have to do it? We don't even know what you're talking about. How long do you have to do what? Again, no subject. Please remember that I'm pointing out that there is no subject. It's saying I have a C and a missing bell work, but I turned that in. Well, again, spelling and grammar is not great in this one. And it's also, again, very direct, but I turned that in. So it's basically saying you're wrong, teacher, and I'm right, so fix it. So again, you could be much more warm about it. Please update the grades. It very well could get me thrown off the team, and if that happens, I must pay $50 to get back on the team after my grades get back up. So please get my one pager in soon. Well, first of all, you're directing me to do something, and I'm probably not going to respond very well to that in the sense of you're being kind of forceful. So again, that's another way where you could be like, hello, I turned in this assignment and I know it was late. I'm sorry for that. I would really, if you find any time at all to put this grade in, I would really appreciate it. Again, be warm. Think about how you want to be spoken to. Yo, Mr. G, I turned in a lot of, I'm assuming that's a cuss word, so that is not appropriate at all. Subject is yo, that's not great. On Google Classroom, just letting you know. Do not curse in an email. It is not professional. It's not appropriate ever. Again, grammar, look at this. Just letting you know, not great. So was your job like, I don't even know what they're trying to say here, honestly, y'all. So no emojis is really not a professional thing. A lot of this is just not professional. What school did you go to after high school? Subject, hey, what's up? It's just not great, okay? Think about it. Be smart about it. Can you tell me how to do number 4 on the problem set? I know you went over it in class, but I've had a very long week. LOL, test, ha ha ha, and I lost my notes. Please help. Spelling and grammar, not great. You know what? Teachers also have very long weeks. We have a life. Treat us like humans, okay? Treat us how you'd like to be treated. Oh, this one's a good one. Why did you freaking email my grandma? I never even chose a person to do the source cards. That's not how you spell source, so that's a problem. Over, and now she won't let me go to Jake's. And if you think I'm going to do it, then you're wrong. You're really making me mad. And if you could email her and say something like, I can do it Monday, I will. Not at all the way that you're going to get a teacher's attention. This is not the way to do it. Okay, so this slide is actually on your note guide, and it's what an email to a teacher should look like, okay? And so make sure that it has all the required components. You have a to, that's the person it's going to, the subject, greeting, paragraphs, closing, and a signature. So make sure it has all of those things before you send it. Make sure it has the appropriate tone and language. And remember, all caps means you're yelling at me. And whether you mean it hateful or not, I'm going to read something in the way that I'm going to read it. So make sure that it has a happy, nice tone, and make sure that it has correct spelling, grammar, and punctuation before you send it. Now, what you're going to do next is in Google Classroom, there's a video that's also attached, how to write an email to a teacher. You're going to watch it and you're going to finish the rest of the note guide. And when the note guide's done, you're going to submit it for credit.